Hello.
Uh, Good evening, folks, and welcome to the second episode of Make, Break, and Party. I hope you all are having a good day, and feel free to tell us how your day was in the chat section.
We hope you all had a great day. And first of all, we'd actually like to thank everyone for coming yesterday and making the session amazing. Thank you so much. We loved the response, and we're very grateful for it. So, yay! Hello.
So, now let me just quickly introduce myself. I'm Preeti, and I go by the pronouns she and her. I'm a third year student from SNEST Hyderabad and also a fellow hacker buddy. I will be your host along with my friend Uma. Uma, could you please introduce yourself and give us a brief about what happened yesterday?
So, yes, hello everybody. My name is Uma. Even I go by the pronouns she and her. So, yes, if you attended yesterday's session, you must know that we tackled Figma yesterday with Datta, and again was so happy. We couldn't be any happier with the response that we got. We hope you all had fun yesterday and learned something out of Figma. So, Preeti, can you tell us about today's session?
Yeah, sure, that's great. Now, I know you all are excited for today's session that is on Web Hacking 101. And without any further delay, let me introduce our speaker for today, that is Moiz Pasha. Moiz is a part time bug hunter and a full time finds willpower to attend college. He is interested in pretty much everything related to tech. He also enjoys trying to break the world's most formidable web system. So, folks, make some noise in the chat to welcome our host and speaker for today, Moiz.
Yay! Hi, Moiz.
Hi,
Hi,
hi
Moiz.
Uma, hi
How is it
Preeti.
going?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
someone
going
said
great
meow meow.
actually. Yeah, someone said meow meow. Yeah, it's going great. My day is going great. How was your day?
It was great. I had fun in college. And
Yes,
how was
everyone
your
in the
day,
chat.
Uma?
See, there you go. Everyone's going wild. They
Yeah.
already love you,
Yeah.
Moiz. That's
Oh
amazing.
wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, oh ho ho.
Hmm?
Mo, we are fine. Hope you're
Fine. Hope
handsome.
you're handsome.
Oh, I
We
hope
have
I'm handsome
some
as well.
fans already.
Yeah. Welcome, Mr.
People
Moist
are
Handsome.
already your
Oh yeah.
fans.
Why? Thank you.
So before
Yeah,
we
you
dive
are
into
handsome.
our session today, okay, you were telling something?
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so before we dive into our session today, I would like to ask you quick questions. How would you describe web hacking in your words?
Well, for me, actually, I don't like to refer to myself as a hacker at first. I like to refer to myself as someone who likes researching cybersecurity. And web hacking, well, I've given the term to make it more relatable, but it's actually technically referred to as web application penetration testing. So, in my view, what web hacking actually is you'll try to find something that can potentially cause a security vulnerability within a website. So that is what web hacking actually is.
And so,
And
what
if I
exactly?
can,
Yeah, sure, go
So,
ahead.
if I can, how did you get started in this? Like, what made you think that, oh, wait, this looks awesome, I want to do it?
Yeah. So around a year ago, I was sitting at home enjoying online classes as usual. So I was sitting at home and I was, I was not really into studies that much. I wanted to do something, I wanted to do something that makes a difference. So one day I was going through a news article and I came across this specific article that's mentioned that Microsoft had awarded something around $30,000 to a person who had found a security vulnerability in Microsoft's website. So naturally, I was curious. So what I did was I read through the article, and that's when I came to discover bug bounty hunting. So immediately I was hooked. Like I was so interested. Like it's a win-win situation. I can secure a website. I can help protect the data of millions of people potentially, and I can also get paid for it. So again, during online classes, I used to have my Zoom meeting open, and I used to watch YouTube videos about hacking and OWASP top 10 and security vulnerabilities. So that's how I got started in this field, and now a year later, here we are.
We have a really cool audience question, and
Yeah.
you should tell us whether it is related to what you do or not. Can you hack my
Can you
crush's
hack can you hack my crush's account? Well, Beluga, I'm sure you have a very beautiful crush, but sadly, I cannot hack your crush's account. And even if I could, I would not do it because that would actually be illegal. So please don't go about trying such things. You can do it in a sandbox environment, which means like a safe environment. But without the victim's knowledge, if you try to hack someone's account by means of brute forcing or anything like that, it's actually illegal. So please don't go about doing such things. And no, I cannot hack your crush's account.
So we also have another question here.
What type of vulnerabilities? Yeah, actually, in websites, there are many aspects to a website. So we have different types of vulnerabilities targeting different parts of a website. Now, I will be discussing about that in my PPT, though not in detail, but I'll be giving a brief overview about what type of vulnerabilities I have found in websites. Okay, thank you.
Cool.
So, folks, you can always keep texting in the chat is always open if you have any questions. And without any further delay, I'll leave the screen to you, Moiz, and we are all ears.
Yes, thank you. Now, once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to day two of Hyderabad's event Make, Break, and Partake. I'll be your speaker for today. And Uma, would you be so kind as to share my PDF?
Sure, definitely. There you
Yeah,
go.
thank you. So, today's session is going to be about website hacking 101. Now, in this session, I'll be explaining like what website hacking actually is, and then I will be going in depth about one specific vulnerability which is used on a regular basis to hack websites. So now, before we start, obviously this session is for educational purposes only. Don't go about doing anything illegal with whatever you learn here. This is just for knowledge. And yeah, so this session is for educational purposes only. Now, secondly, who will this session be helpful for? The first category of people this session will be helpful for is people interested in cybersecurity. Obviously, if you're trying to hack something, and uh, uh, people interested in cybersecurity will benefit a lot from knowing web application vulnerabilities, because almost every organization now has a website, right? So anyone who is interested in cybersecurity will find this session helpful. Secondly, this session will also be helpful for web developers. Now, can anyone in the chat tell me why this will be helpful for web developers? To secure, yes. Beluga, to secure. right? Now the people who will be building the websites are going to be the web developers, obviously. So in order for people to know how their websites are going to be hacked, and how they're going to secure their websites, they need to know how they will be hacked. So this session will also, yeah, they know the backend very well. Yeah, they know the backend very well, and then now, if you have a knowledge of hacking, then you can know what traps and pitfalls to avoid while building your website, so that you don't make your website vulnerable to other, potentially malicious attackers. And thirdly, this session will be helpful for everyone else. Why will this session be helpful for everyone else? Because ultimately the target is going to be you, the normal user. So this, I will also be creating some general awareness in this session, and that will be beneficial to everyone. Now, hi there. I'm Moiz, and I am a bug bounty hunter, which means I like to find security vulnerabilities in websites. So I go by the handle at the rate Mopasha on HackerOne and Bugcrowd. I have found security vulnerabilities in over 11 multinational corporations such as Logitech, etc. And apart from this, I'm also interested in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, electronics, and pretty much anything related to technology. So that's it about me. And now let's get started. Now, what exactly is website hacking? Now, if you look at the definition from EC Council, they have this, very technical definition. Web hacking refers to the exploitations of applications via HTTP, which can be done by manipulating. Yeah. So this definition, while being technically correct, is not actually easy to understand for someone who is a beginner. So, in order to understand what web hacking actually is, first we need to understand the different types of cyber threats. Now, I have categorized broadly, upon my understanding, types of cyber threats into two categories. The first one is end user based cyber threats, and the second one is organization based. Now, in end user based, you get attacks like spam, phishing, and others, which are often referred to as social engineering attacks. And as organization based attacks contain attacks like SQL injection, remote code execution, which come under web hacking. So now, for end user based attacks, so earlier, just a few months ago, on WhatsApp, I was just scrolling, and my friend actually sent me a link. The link was actually very weird looking. The link looked like as soon as I saw the link, I thought, yeah, this is not going to end well for me, and this is not a legitimate link. So, being a highly educated, responsible engineering student, I clicked on the link. Now, as soon, yeah, as soon as I clicked on the link, nothing bad actually happened. In fact, Amazon decided to give me a free iPhone 11, 128 GB. Great deal, right? Yeah. So, I also got a same email with it. Yeah.
The people who can
So,
relate.
yeah, people who can relate, right? My friends who clicked on the link. Yeah. So, Amazon actually decided to give me a free iPhone. But the catch was I have to share this link with 5 groups or 20 friends on WhatsApp and tap the next button to receive my prize. So I clicked on the like I went through that, and it was asking me for my address. Obviously, I stopped there. But now, if you look at this image right here, this actually looks very convincing, right? This looks like the Amazon app. So, can anyone in the chat tell me how I can differentiate whether this is the actual Amazon website or not? As a responsible citizen of India, you received iPhone. Yeah, Datta, I wish I received an iPhone. All I got was spam. The arrow. URL, it is sketchy. Yes, exactly. Bhuvi, I guess that's Bhuvaneshwari. Yeah. The URL, if you notice closely, it is not Amazon.com, obviously. Now, someone says HTTP. However, if you look closely, this is actually an secured website. HTTPS. Did you see that? It is actually, it has the little lock icon. So it is a secure website. But my best guess is that this website is actually a legit website where people can host web pages. And since they can host web pages, they are using it for illegal purposes. So if you look at this website, it is some Russian website, which is definitely not Amazon.com. So this is an example of an end user attack. What I will do is, as an attacker, I will create a link like this and I will send it to you like, hey, click here for free internships, or click here in order to, get job offers or something like that. And I will send you this link. And you click on the link, and what will happen is, like, it will ask you for your this thing, for your private information. Sometimes if you click on that link, you may download an application also. And please don't run such an application, because that will most likely contain a virus. So whenever you get any URL like this, like something rediroff.ru, or sometimes it may be tinyurl.com also. Sometimes it may be bit.ly URLs. Please look twice before clicking on such links, tinyurl.com, bit.ly, and this. So now while this phishing attack seems very silly, actually there are hundreds of people who fall for such types of attacks. However, in this attack, the disadvantage is that the person has to be gullible enough to click and enter their address in the link, or enter their personal details, or enter their credit card details in the link. So this is an example of an end user based attack. Like, I may reach 20 people, or I may reach 30 people, or 100 people, but I won't be able to reach a very large number of people. Now,
Moiz, just to interrupt, we actually have a question from the audience.
bro, how can secured websites can be in numbers in that link? Yeah, that's what I was referring to, Commander. This actually, according to my best guess, this is actually a real website, like a legitimate website where someone can upload their own web pages. Did you get my point? It is a How can a person know if it's legit? Yeah, just a minute. Uh, this is a legitimate website where someone else uploads their pages, but this is being used for malicious purposes by some attackers. So that is how this is a secure website. As you can see from the lock icon, this is a secure website, but someone is actually using it for malicious purposes. Like, this is, for example, WhatsApp is a secure app, but someone will send you scam emails or scam WhatsApp groups or something like that. It's not the fault of WhatsApp. It's the attacker who is doing those things. And second question, how can a person know if it's legit when the attacker sends a tiny URL where a victim can't know the components in it until he clicks on it? Exactly. So that is why always think twice before clicking on a tiny URL. A person cannot know if it's legit. It may redirect you to some other website. You will not know. So I suggest, maybe, if you want to click, if you want to, like, you really want to know, then maybe you have a sandbox domain, or maybe incognito, and just open it and check, like, visually scan the website if it's actually going to be a real one. Right. Better to not click any links shared. Yeah, that's what. How these mails or messages reach? Yeah, this actually happens mostly. Some people actually start the attack, and the users, the victims, forward it to other people. Like, can you see this here? Share with 5 groups, 20 friends on WhatsApp. So if I share with 5 people, those 5 people will share with 5 people. Those 5 people will share with another 5 people. That is how these attacks spread. So the victim is actually spreading the attack on behalf of the attacker. The attacker does not have to do anything. Right. Coming to the point. Now, I don't want to get access to only 10 people, maybe 20 people, 100 people. I want to get access to everyone. For example, I want to access the real Amazon website. Imagine how many millions of people use the real Amazon website. I want to get access to everything, like all of those people's attacks. For example, if you can see here, 533 million Facebook users' phone numbers and personal data have been leaked online. Or Uber hid a hack that exposed data of more than 57 million users and drivers for more than a year. So, like with a normal phishing attack, I won't be able to get 533 million people clicking. So, how do I do this? The answer is through organization based web attacks or website hacking. So, what I will do is, see, there are many users accessing a website. Like for example, I've taken 5 users here. There are many users accessing a website. What I will do is, as an attacker, I will also access the website. I will find a way to break the logic, gain access to the server, and get the data of all of these people through the website itself. That is what web hacking is. So, web hacking is very dangerous, and obviously, it will be harder to find such attacks in websites. However, if you find even one critical vulnerability, millions of people's data could be lost. Right.
So
Now,
we have another
coming, yeah,
question here.
yeah. So, what type of information will be accessed by the hacker through this attack? I assume you mean this phishing attack. Now, in this link, I clicked on yes, yes, and next. At the end, it asked me for my address, right? So it's like blatantly asking me on my face to enter my address. Also, some might ask your credit card information, like you need to pay just 10 rupees for delivery charges or something. Please enter your credit card information. As soon as you do that, it's gone. And some websites may actually send you you click on the link and you'll get a downloaded something downloaded. Like it may appear to be a PDF file. It may look like a docx file, but it will actually be some shell script, or it will be something. If you click on that and allow it to run on your device, it will actually find something Trojan horse type of stuff. And uh, so yeah, it can get access to your camera and everything. So please don't click on any attachments downloaded through such websites. Yeah. No. Right. Someone's Rami Malek. Yeah. Hacker Man. I Robot. Watch that series if you have the time. Sorry, Mr. Robot. Watch that series if you have the time. It's actually a great series. Now, coming to the point, how exactly do I hack a website? Like I mentioned, there are different types of vulnerabilities. Someone actually asked this question, right? There
Yes.
are different
Amazing.
types of vulnerabilities, and out of these, I have selected a few here. Like the first one is cross-site scripting, which we are going to be discussing today. Cross-site scripting. The second one is SQL injection, where you gain access to the SQL database the website is running. I'm sorry, I don't have time to cover all of these in detail, but I will go in detail on cross-site scripting. So the second one is SQL injection. Third one is remote code execution, which means I will execute code directly on the website server. And next we have cross-site request forgery. Now this is actually a bit more technical, but basically it means that I will again send something like I will craft a web page and I will send that to you. But as soon as you click on that, like in phishing attacks, what happened is you were asked to enter, like you did not uh, get hacked directly. It has to take you through a series of steps. But here in cross-site request forgery, what happens is that with just one click of a button or something, you can lose like your data. That depends on the website again and on the type of attack. Next, we have broken access control. This is mostly used to target admins and break the logic of the web application, basically. So that is what broken access control is. And the last one is local file inclusion. In local file inclusion, what will happen is that you can actually include, as in upload a file to the website server. So in local file inclusion, I can upload some file to the website server directly. In fact, are you able to see my t-shirt right now? Yeah. So this t-shirt,
It's visible.
yeah. So this t-shirt I'm wearing, it says I hacked the Dutch government and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Yeah, you can see a hole. That's not a hole. Sorry, that's my badge, which is being interpreted as background. Yeah, so this t-shirt says I hacked the Dutch government and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. So this I got by finding a local file inclusion vulnerability in the Dutch government websites, in one of the Dutch government websites. Right. Coming to cross-site scripting. Now, before we come to cross-site scripting, there is, let me go on a side quest here. There is the matter of cookies. Now, let me actually just share my screen here. Yeah. Uma, could you please add my screen to the stream?
Sure. Yes. There you go.
Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. Let me actually just, yeah. Now, I have opened github.com here. Now, I'm going to press sign in and right. And now I have logged into my GitHub account. Now, let me just close my uh, like Chrome window. Let me actually just close my Chrome window. And what I'll do is, uh, sorry about that. Yeah, right. I've closed my Chrome window and I'll open it again. Now, when I go to github.com again, you can see it is not asking me for my username and password again, right? It is not asking me for my username and password again. Once again, let me close my Chrome window and let me open it again. The first time I signed in with my username and password, but now when I open this, when I open my browser and go to github.com again, it is not asking me for my username and password again. So now, uh, yeah, Uma, can you share the
Sure.
PPT? Yeah. Now the question is, how did the website know who I was? Yeah, I still remember I asked my friends that big cookies. So nice. Beluga is learning from hacker, I think. Yeah. Cookies play here. Yes. T2 I think that's I'm sorry. Yeah, T2E0J. Cookies play here. Exactly. So whenever I type my username and password for the first time, what will happen is a cookie is generated. Now, this cookie contains user session data and is actually stored on the browser. So what will happen is whenever I close my browser and open again, this cookie is stored in my browser. So if I open my browser again, this cookie is automatically sent to the GitHub server and I am logged in to my GitHub account. What is JSON? JSON shortcut or JavaScript? Yeah, JSON actually refers to JavaScript object notation. That is not related to the topic. Yeah, but so what happened is whenever I logged in, a cookie was generated and it is stored in my browser, right? So if I close and open my browser again, what will happen is this cookie will immediately be sent with all HTTP requests I make to github.com, and I will be basically authenticated to my GitHub account. Now, why is this important? It means if I can get access to the cookie, I can get access to the account. I need not know the username and password. If I have a working session cookie, I can get access to the account of the victim. Right. This is an important point to remember. Now, coming to our topic, cross site scripting. Let me actually demonstrate this as well. I'll be sharing my
We have
screen
a
again.
question here. Just a second.
Yeah. Do cookies store info in cipher or plain text? Yeah, nothing is, if you are going to be a web developer or if you are going to use a normal website, nothing should be stored in plain text. It is always encrypted. Cookie, it generates a random session token, and it send whenever I log in, it generates a random session token by the server. They may use any encryption, and it will send that random token back to me in order for me to authenticate. So it is not stored in plain text. Cipher, yeah, you can call it a cipher, but yeah. So it's
Here we have
can
another
ask
question.
how to get someone's cookies. Yeah, you see the screen right here. It says cross-site scripting, and that is how you get someone's cookies. Or you can inspect elements and get, but you'll be getting your own cookie, so it's not going to be like helpful for you at all. So cross-site scripting is used to get someone's cookies. It's one of the ways. Yeah, right. Let me actually share my screen once again. Um, Hang on, just a minute. Yeah. Mm, Sorry about the delay. I'm just working some things out.
No worries, take your time.
It's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see what is going on in the chat here, though.
Yeah. Right. Sorry about that. Can I get your cookies? Seems someone hacked your file and deleted. You know what? Let me just share my screen here. Right. Um, Close GitHub. Yeah. Now you see this beautiful web page that I have designed, right? Very nice. It actually takes an input of a name. So, Uma, can you give me someone's name from the chat?
Let's see. Should we go with Beluga Moa? Seems to be extremely.
Belugamoa. Is this right?
Active.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this very secure website takes my input and displays, Hi Beluga. Right. Maybe Datta. I saw someone Datta in the chat. Yeah. Hi Datta. Right. This is a very simple thing. Yeah, it will take my name and it will, say hello. Now, but we don't want it to work in the normal way. As a hacker, we want to break this. Now, can anyone tell me as you have noticed, like whatever I am typing in here, let me type test, it's being reflected onto this web page right here. Now, can anyone tell me what I can insert in this field here in order to change the web page? Like, I want to change the web page. Can anyone tell me in the chat? The person who tells me first
Hmm.
might be getting a swag packet.
Let's see.
Yeah.
We are waiting for your answers.
Hello. Yes. Cookies? No. I Let me actually repeat the question. Uh, Here, yeah, I've seen the answer here. Now, I in my web page which I've designed in this beautiful web page, I am actually inserting something and it's being reflected. I want to change this web page. I want to do something in order to change this web page. What can I add in here that can allow me to change the web page? Yeah, I've seen that. Hey Mudit says JavaScript. So JavaScript is the correct answer. And before we insert JavaScript, I wanted someone to tell me HTML. This website, yeah, this looks
Oh,
like a
there you
PHP.
go.
This is a yeah. Oh, HTML. Yeah, href tag. Yeah, Sharanya. Thank you for that answer. I can actually insert HTML in here. See, for example, let me insert a header tag. Now, Sharanya, I'm sorry if I'm spelling your name wrong, slash h1. I don't know HTML, sorry. As soon as I added the h1 tag, you can see that I got a heading. Did you see this? That means whatever HTML I am inserting here is being embedded onto the web page. So let me add something like Beluga H1 heading. I got a heading tag. Now, if I am able to insert HTML, then I can change the web page contents. However, I want the web page to do something. I want it to, do something in order to help me as the attacker. I want it to perform something. So what I will be using is I will be using JavaScript. Yeah, I think Hey Mudit was the person who mentioned this. I will be using JavaScript. However, directly I'm not going to be able to insert JavaScript here. Like if I type some JavaScript in this form, I won't be able to directly have it execute. However, we have established that we can insert HTML tags, right? Like h1, maybe h2. We can insert HTML tags, and there is one special tag called the script tag, which allows me to embed JavaScript within this website. So let me actually do that. Script alert one slash script. This is one of the basic cross-site scripting payloads you are going to be able to find. Like this is now this. Can anyone tell me what this alert function does? Yeah, let me switch over here. Pop up. Exactly. That means now if I press enter, I am getting a pop up which says 1. This means I have successfully executed JavaScript code. Script alert. Please like the video if you are on YouTube. Sorry, publicity. Now, if I can execute JavaScript, I can do basically JavaScript is a programming language. If I can execute JavaScript, I can do whatever this programming language allows me to execute on this browser. But even if I can execute JavaScript, it's not going to be much use to me, right? I can execute JavaScript on a website. Yeah, I can change the website. Maybe I can do something with that. But at the end, ultimately what I want is I want someone's data. I want some users data. So again, can anyone in the chat tell me what can allow me to get someone's data? So the okay button is going to change our lives if it's malicious. Yeah, actually depends on that. Now, can anyone tell me what? Yeah, cookies. Exactly. Cookies are going to allow me to, you know, steal someone's data. Why cookies? Because cookies are actually stored on the client side. Some cookies are mostly. They are stored, the important ones are stored on the client side. Now, if I want script alert document dot cookie slash script, you can see my cookie. This is actually a cross-site request for Jerry token. It's a part of a cookie, but this is how I can access the cookies of a person. So what I will do is, see, JavaScript is a programming language. What I will do is I will write something like take this cookie and send a get request. Send it to my server, like this document.cookie, send it to my server. I as an attacker, I will host some website, send it to my server. As soon as someone clicks on this, their cookie will be sent to my server. Now, using the cookie, I can log in and use their account. So this is a very basic example of what cross-site scripting is. You inject JavaScript across the website and use it to execute malicious code. Now,
So
how is
we
this
actually
different?
have
Yeah,
another question here.
yeah, just a second. Yes, it depends on the field type. If it's a password type, then we can't do this. Yes, that is what I was mentioning about web developers earlier, right? You have to make your uh, forms. I guess you're speaking about forms, right? Like password type. So you have to make those decisions. The password type, for example. Suppose as a web developer, I have a lot on my mind. I forgot I forgot to make something. It depends on the field type, yes. But password is not the only field type, right? I can have a search bar. I can have, like, for example, my name. For example, here in the comments, if you're typing on Twitch, you're typing something in the chat. That is also an example of taking input from the user. That cannot be a password type, right? So there are many different forms. And also, if somehow a web developer forgets to make it a password type, or if a web developer, does not take proper measures, then we will have such insecure forms in the website that an attacker can manipulate in order to execute their cross-site scripting attack. Now, that was a very a basic website which I've coded. So let me actually share an example of a lab which contains cross-site scripting. As you can practice cross-site scripting here. Now, portswigger.net/web security. This is a very great link. We will be sharing these links in the chat afterwards. Now, portswigger.net/web security. This allows you to practice such attacks. If you want to perform such attacks, you can practice them safely here. Don't go practicing about on real life websites, like don't do it on your college website, because that is actually illegal. So you can practice it safely here. So this portsfigure.net/web security contains labs for all types of vulnerabilities. You'll have to create an account if you want to log in, but I'll just let me just demonstrate like how these labs are going to be. So if I scroll down, like I'll go to web security/all labs, and if I scroll down, I'll see cross-site scripting. Now, let me actually open up this lab. access the lab. Yeah. Yeah, 0806 folder, damn vulnerable web application. Huh? This is not Diva. Sorry, DVWA. This is actually Portswigger Web Academy. Yeah, you can actually use damn vulnerable web application, but I guess you have to like install it and run it as a Docker container. Yeah, yeah. Can we get the link in the chat? Yeah, there you go. Web security. You'll have to create an account. So maybe you can do it after this session. And right. So here I've opened a lab. This is a web page. Yeah, like I can view post here. This is a post. This is a comment. I leave a comment test. Let me post. Yeah, I'll have to enter my name. So this is the web page. Now here, can anyone tell me on this web page where I can insert my cross-site scripting payload? Yeah,
Let's see.
the first search. Exactly. Beluga says search. Now in, yeah, console is actually, you can do it in the console, but it's going to be like self cross-site scripting. That's what's referred to as self cross-site scripting. Like I am opening my own inspect elements and I'm doing it. Yeah, Hemant says search bar. Yeah, Beluga, I guess, is part of our Hyderabad team. Hemant actually said search bar. Yeah, maybe we can, give us back for that. And so let me actually insert my cross-site scripting payload here. As soon as I click on this search, right, remember, this is intentionally made vulnerable. So, but in real life, also such attacks happen. Like people forget to sanitize this. So, as soon as I press search, you can see my alert pop up. As soon as I press the search button, I got my cross-site scripting payload executed. Now, here you can see here this search question mark search is equal to script alert and something something. Like, let me actually try this. Yeah, let me drop this in the chat. Uma, can you please drop this link in the chat?
Definitely.
This is a safe link here. This is a safe link. It's just a script. Now you can see that script alert one here, right? Uh, can anyone confirm that this is opening?
Oh, it seems like there's an error with the link itself.
There's an error with the link. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. But what I wanted to say is, you can see in this link that has been sent. You can open it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm,
it's working fine.
yeah, it's working fine, right?
been
As
working? That's good
you
to
may
know.
have noticed that when you opened the link, this alert popped up. Now, also, if you can check the link closely, you can see the URL closely. It says search script alert one. That is actually URL encoded, but that is the payload which I have kept here. Script alert one, right? So this payload, as soon as you click on this link, my JavaScript is being executed. So now in a normal phishing attack, what will happen is like I'll send you a link, but whenever you click the link, what will happen is like it will ask you it has to coax the information from the user. However, as soon as you click this link, your JavaScript will be executed. This is an example of reflected cross-site scripting. As but the main important point is as soon as you click this link, yeah, man, I got hacked. Exactly. So that is the danger of cross-site scripting. In phishing attacks, you do not directly get hacked, but in cross-site scripting, it will inject or execute this code in your browser, and it can get access to the cookies of the browser. So this is an example of where you can practice this. And let me actually just come back to the PPT, Uma. Yeah, thank you.
So we actually have another question here. Someone's been very
Yeah,
patient with us.
yeah, sorry. Using cracking websites is good or not? Also the torrent ones. Cracking websites as in, I don't really get cracking websites. I mean, I would suggest to stay away from any seemingly shady website, but yeah, could you please elaborate on that? Meanwhile, I have a question.
Oh, wait,
Wait,
see
now I
someone.
clicked. Wait, now I clicked OK. Can you access my cookies? No, like you're referring to the, uh, the link which I've sent, right? I cannot access your cookies. This is a lab environment. I've told you, like, this is only a lab environment. I cannot access your cookies, and all the JavaScript which I've executed is only an alert tag. So don't worry. And also, in cross-site scripting, you can, even if you manage to fire this, it's called firing the payload. Even if you manage to execute JavaScript, you can only access cookies of that website. You can't access other website cookies. So
Oh,
don't worry. It's
your commenter elaborated
like,
on
yeah,
the.
like the ones where we get the films or games. Oh, you're referring to those uh, websites. Yeah. Uh, so in films or games, once again, you have to be very careful. If you are going to download a file, it may come bundled with malware. That actually depends on the website. Even if the website is secure, it may contain malware. So be very careful while downloading from, yeah, torrent websites or cracked. Though usually with a little bit of care you can avoid those, but be very careful. And I would suggest not going to such websites at all. Pirated websites. Yeah, you will. Sorry, Datta, I guess, is accessing. Datta, I have a question. I don't know programming. So can I learn this, and does this involve programming? Yeah. Yes, Datta, actually, uh, only for cross-site scripting and a few other vulnerabilities will you require a little bit of programming, just bare minimum. For example, if I can manage to pop this alert, yeah, I can just find the payload somewhere or and use them. But once again, uh, firing this alert one payload is enough to prove cross-site scripting. If you're doing this ethically, you can. That is enough. You don't need a lot of knowledge. In fact, for all the security vulnerabilities I've found, I've only used programming in like one or two of them. Now there are people who use code to automate this process and do it, but generally to get started, you don't require any programming knowledge for this. However, if you're deciding to go the route of ethical hacking and such, you may require a little bit of bash scripting and Python knowledge. Yeah, thank you.
Someone has some amazing advice here.
Go to r/pirated games for games and use the generous sites which only download game but not malware. Reddit. Everyone likes Reddit here. Yeah. So once again, yeah, I guess Reddit has some filters for malware. I'm not really sure, but maybe once again, my general advice is stay away from any links which look suspicious, including tiny URL bit.ly, noobtools.me, I guess. Yeah, anything. Be careful. Yeah, and avoid piracy. Piracy is bad, people. Right. Now, coming back to our this thing. I was mentioning how is how is this different from a phishing attack? Like, I'll be sending a link here. I've sent you a link, and I mentioned that in phishing also I've sent you a link. Now, how is this different from a phishing attack? Now, the first thing I've mentioned is In phishing attacks, you don't directly get hacked, right? In phishing attacks, what will happen is whenever I click, it may open something and it may download something, but as long as you don't click on the attachment, or as long as you don't, give your information, then you are actually going to be fine. However, in cross-site scripting, what will happen is you may click that, or you may enter your information in a form, and your data will be stolen, and the website is going to be legitimate. That is the most important thing. For example, looking at this here, click this link for free internships. Totally not evil.com. This looks evil. Like I can just look at this and say I'm not going to click it. However, if you look at the one at the bottom, hello, Google is offering a free internship. Click to know more. For example, if I found cross-site scripting in jobs.google.com, if you found, oh, yeah, I'll be getting to the chat in a minute. Yeah, if I found cross-site scripting in jobs.google.com, this is a real Google domain. It is an actual domain. So, but as soon as I click on this, you can see maybe I have the alert payload there, my JavaScript payload. This looks like a real email, real. This is in fact a real website. However, if I click on this, you will get your data stolen, some part of it at least. So that is why actually Google offers somewhere from around $500 to $7,500 depending on the domain. If you find, this script alert one I've put here, right? If you can find such a thing in a Google owned website, in google.com or jobs.google.com or something, you may earn 500 to $7,500, anywhere in that range.
Wow,
Yeah, that is
that's
what
a
bug
lot
bounty
of money.
hunting is. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
There
Unfortunately, I've
you
not
go.
been. Yeah, I need money. Let me search some bugs in my room. Yeah,
Oh, wait, someone posted a cool comment.
not to say, but there is a script running for my Spotify which some kid wrote and gave me to bypass ads. Now, can you tell what it makes to write such a script? Yeah, I guess that's just a simple ad blocker. For example, the browser I'm using, Brave, that actually, you know, that actually has inbuilt ad blocking. So that your script, I may need to look at it to know, but your script may just have a basic ad blocker, like it will detect links from ads.google.com, or it may detect such links and just block them. So what it makes to write the script, yeah, it may be a basic ad blocker. However, I'll need to look at the script to say in detail. My guess is it's a basic ad blocker. An ad blocker is not like related to you know this thing. Yeah, but good question. Yeah. Now, so yeah, this is how cross-site scripting attacks are done. Now, this is an example of a cross-site scripting attack that happened in the real world. As you can see, there was a hacker group named MageCard. They found a cross-site scripting vulnerability in an old British Airways domain. British Airways is one of the, or if not the most traveled airways in the world, and this British Airways, one of the websites of British Airways had like insecure code. So what happened was this hacking group named MageCard managed to inject some 22 lines of code into a support form. So that support form looked legitimate. It was from a legitimate website, but same. They sent that link, people entered their data, and they stolen, as you can see here, the stolen information included personal and payment information, but not passport information. Yeah, personal and payment information. was stolen. So you can go to riskiq.com and read about this attack. So as you can see here, look at the number of people affected, because this is a real website. Look at the number of people affected. 380,000 victims. That is what, you know, the power of cross-site scripting, the danger of cross-site scripting is. That is why companies are willing to pay, like I've mentioned, Google. That is why they're willing to pay so much in order to protect. British Airways, when compared to Google, actually has a relatively small uh, user base when compared to Google. Imagine if I found something like this in Google. Imagine if I sent a link, and as soon as you clicked on that link in Google, I could steal some part of, if not all of your Google account cookies. So that is why people are so concerned about cross-site scripting, and that is why companies are willing to pay. They are willing to pay someone who reports such a vulnerability in such large amounts. So that is an
So
example of cross-site scripting. Yeah,
we have a question here.
Sounds scary.
I have one question. Through cross-site scripting, can we get into the server of the organization? Yes, that is a very good question, actually. In some cases, there have been cases where cross-site scripting leads to privilege escalation. That means, suppose I'm a normal user, I can get my privilege. I can become an admin, for example. Through cross-site scripting, I can do something, and if someone on the back end clicks on that link, like an employee clicks on that link, I can get their cookies and they will have access to the server. So cross-site scripting is a way to get into. It may be. It depends on the situation, actually. But this happens in very, very rare cases, and you can find these under. There will be reports like cross-site scripting to remote code execution. So that is what cross-site scripting can do. Yeah.
So
So
is it
relatively
something like
cybersec edge. Yes, but it's not like every site is doing phishing. Cross-site scripting can access everything. Yeah, that's the point of cross-site scripting. That is why it's so dangerous. If I have, for example, twitch.com, if I have a twitch.com link and I have injected a cross-site scripting payload, then it makes the whole user base vulnerable. So that is why it is going to be very, very difficult for you to find cross-site scripting in major websites like YouTube, Twitch, Google. If you find it, please report it to the Google. Please report it to the concerned organization. If you find cross-site scripting somewhere, like you type script alert one in some search bar somewhere or some form. If you find that alert pop up, please do report it to the concerned organization, and who knows, you may be awarded a very good bounty as
so
well.
we have
That
another
is what, yeah,
question.
someone mentioned. How can you stop cross-site scripting? Now, cross-site scripting actually has to be stopped mostly on the back end. Like I am a sorry, I am the developer of a website. While developing the website, I'll just put an insecure form or something. Like that is what leads to cross-site scripting. Now, as a developer, there are many libraries available which are called sanitizers, or or purifiers. I guess they are also called as purifiers. So what these will do is these libraries will automatically filter out such tags, so they won't allow that to be executed at all. Like automatically, it's like a block. It does not allow you to insert any HTML into the page. So that is called sanitization of input. That is how you can stop cross-site scripting on from the developer side. And yeah, relatively cybersecurity engineers pay a lot than a web intern one. Yeah, it actually depends on your skill level. For example, yeah, like I do bounty hunting. Means I find such vulnerabilities like cross-site scripting, IDORs, and something like that, and I report them to the organizations. The organizations pay me. So it actually wholly depends on your skill level. Like it does not depend on your age, it does not depend on your background, it does not depend on your education level. It wholly depends on your skill. If you are skilled enough to find, if you are skilled enough to bypass the protection of developers and their security tests, they will test the website hundreds of times before they release it live. If you are skilled enough to do that, then you can earn millions. There are people who have earned millions also finding security vulnerabilities in websites, and that is what bug bounty hunting is. Right. Thank you. Now, the types of XSS, this is actually a bit informative and it goes into a bit of depth. Stored cross-site scripting. Now, stored cross-site scripting means for example, I have inserted the script alert one payload. This is permanently stored on the server. Like for example, it will be permanently stored on the server, and whenever I click on that, it will access the data through the server and execute the cross-site scripting payload. This is one of the most critical types of cross-site scripting. The other type is reflected cross-site scripting. For example, I've sent you a link here, right? The link that was sent, that had the payload in the search parameter, as you can see. So that is a reflected type of cross-site scripting. That means whatever I'm putting in the search, that is being reflected into the web page. If you notice the definition here, the injected script is reflected of the web server, such as in an error message, search result, etc. So the payload is reflected. That means it's not stored, but whatever input I'm giving is directly being sent back to me as the output. That is reflected cross-site scripting. And there is a third very obscure method, DOM based cross site scripting. So, DOM refers to document object modifier. So, in this, the attack payload is executed by as a result of modifying the DOM environment. That means, like, it's not reflected, but something I do causes the website to change the code client side. Now there is a tree called a document object modifier, and it varies from client to client. So something I send is actually causing the website to modify that page for me and execute the cross-site scripting payload. That is known as DOM-based cross-site scripting. So that was about cross-site scripting. If anyone has any questions, you can drop them in the chat. Thank you all for staying so long if you're still here. Yeah, and don't
So we
forget to
do
tune in
have a
tomorrow.
few questions. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
First one.
How can I learn hacking, bro? Any suggestions? How can I start learning? Yeah, like for hacking, I'm assuming you mean ethical hacking or penetration testing. The first thing you will need to do is, you know, have a basic knowledge of Linux fundamentals and networking fundamentals, because most of the work that's going to be done is going to be through networks or via the internet, and most of the scripts that you're going to be using or most of the tools that you're going to be using are going to be used through the Linux operating system. So, uh, if you want to learn hacking, you can start with the basics of Linux fundamentals and network fundamentals, and then you can progress to such. Then you can explore the different branches of hacking. Like, for example, there is web application penetration testing. There is also mobile application penetration testing, and there are many such different events. Yeah, so that is how you can do. And if you want any
So we
suggestions,
have
you can
another
feel free to connect.
question.
Yeah.
There you go.
How can I learn hacking as a hobby and without getting involved in programming? Yeah, like most of it, just most hacking just involves learning how to use tools, and it depends on your, again once again, on your creativity and on your skill level. Like you can learn hacking as a hobby just by practicing. You can go, there are great links in YouTube, and there are great channels Like for example, the ones you're seeing on screen, there are great channels which will provide you, with the basics of getting started. And most of these do not have any coding whatsoever. So that is how you can get started. Yeah, hack the box folder, hack the box. You can use hack the box as well. Hack the box, try hack me, and all such sites. Yeah, try hack me is a good platform to learn hacking. That's my suggestion. Thank you. Try hack me is good, and also hack the box as well. They have these websites have like step by step introduction to cybersecurity courses like that. So you can sign up for an account on either try hack me or hack the box and get started. This session turned me into hacker
Literally.
from Beluga. Well, I hope you can remember your password now.
There you
Bug
go.
code hack. Yeah, everyone has turned into a hacker. Thank you. Just don't go about doing anything illegal. Don't inject cross-site scripting payloads in, websites. And even if you do find cross-site scripting somewhere, please report it. Don't use it to steal cookies and everything. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening in. And if you like the session, maybe you can, in the feedback form which will be sent, you can mention it, and I can try and take, uh, I can try and go in depth on these other types of vulnerabilities which I have shown here. I can go more in depth if you like the session. Yeah. Thank you.
We would surely like to have more sessions on this. And I think everyone here enjoyed, and I would like to thank you for this wonderful session. It was an eye opening for me, and I'm sure it was an one for others as well.
I personally am flawed right now, and let me tell you, my interest is peaked. So I'm definitely going to take a look at this after this session.
Oh
Even we
yeah.
are gonna do that
Who?
for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot the most important thing. Who won the swags?
Swags.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
someone named
right.
Hey Mudit as well.
Yes, the
Uh,
JavaScript,
yeah,
right?
JavaScript. I seem to remember you from the last session. Did you win the swags in the last session, Hey Mudit? If so, if not, then we'll be sending them to you again. And
And I think
uh,
even the
yeah,
You
T2,
mentioned.
T2E. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you. And
I
Hemant,
think
I guess
you should
someone.
win one too.
Yeah, Hemant also.
Hemant,
Fine.
yes.
Yeah, he was somewhere.
So
Yeah.
the winners
He
ping us
was
on
somewhere.
Discord and we'll ship your swags
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
We would love it if you can open a ticket in our Discord server. So there you go, someone.
Send me some biscuits instead of cookies this time. Yeah, I will send you both biscuits and cookies, but you can send me your cookies if you want. Fine. The real ones,
Well,
obviously. Your handsome fans are hyped. Wonderful session. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
The number of fans you had have increased.
wait, T2,
Yeah. Oh,
Teja, I
yeah.
think,
Do
has
cookies
been
store
asking this
in
for a
our
long time.
browser history? Now, browser history is something different. Browser history stores the data of all websites you visit. Yeah, but cookies are stored in your browser. Some of them, at least, are actually stored in your browser. Others are actually generated while you're using, and some of them are stored in our browser, which is used to, like I mentioned, authenticate when you open a website again.
So actually, I have a little question. So like when you open a website these days, it usually asks you manage cookie preferences, right? It either asks you to accept all cookies or it asks you to manage your preferences. So
Yes.
what would you recommend? Do I
Um,
accept all or do I manage them and only allow what is necessary?
Yeah, that is actually a great question. they usually ask accept all cookies, but what tends to happen is that some cookies are absolutely necessary for authentication purposes. So those obviously they'll be checked. The others are going to be tracking some of your activity, like they will send your activity. For example, if I am using Twitch, as most of you are, if I'm using Twitch, I can, if I say accept all cookies, Twitch will gain some access to your data, like how much, sorry, how much time I'm accessing Twitch, like what channels I'm accessing, and all those. So there are some tracking cookies, there are some recommendation cookies, and such things. You can choose, but I would recommend only use necessary cookies, because again, the ethics of companies are being questioned these days. So I would recommend use only necessary cookies. But if you are fine with people using, you know, some of your data, like some of your data, you can do it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
so
see.
I
Do we
have a
have
question
any?
as well. So, how did you start learning? Like, did you start learning after joining a community, or were you doing it alone? Can you throw some light on that?
Yes, so I did not actually join a community at first. Like I mentioned, I was just randomly browsing around and I stumbled across some YouTube channels. So that was how I first got into this field. And that is how, you know, I started and I continued that way as well for about some time. And after that, what I did was I took the hands-on approach. Like I went to HackerOne, I found a company, and I started, just messing around with the websites. So in order to know like how something works, in order to know like, oh, this is the logic being used here. So that is how I developed my knowledge. And at the same time, I continued using, YouTube and all. And after that, I joined college and I joined this wonderful club, Akraba. Yeah, Akraba.
We are glad you're here. Okay,
So
so
if
before
there
we wrap up
aren't,
this session, one last question. What would you advise the beginners?
What would you advise the beginners? Yeah, if anyone is getting started, I would advise that consistency is key. It does not matter how much you learn in one day. If you can learn just a little bit every day, that will help a lot. I did the same mistake. I just, watched two YouTube videos and I was like, let's go try hack into some of the world's biggest websites. The thing is, the people developing those websites are actually engineers with years of software development experience. They have like layers and layers of security, and there are rechecks done. So if you just watch a few YouTube videos and decide to try it, it's not going to be enough. And so consistency, learn a little bit at a time, and looking back, you will realize just how much you have learned. So that would be my advice. Stay consistent, learn something or the other, and that's it. Yeah.
I'll surely use that one.
that is really good advice. I agree. So looks like there aren't any questions. I think it's time we wrap this up.
Yes, we are already over time.
We are quite, we have gone a little bit over time. So
Yeah.
I think for
So
wrapping up,
sorry
yeah,
Once
about
again,
that.
thank you, dear.
I hope I didn't bore anyone with speaking.
No, the session was really informative and
it
I
was
enjoyed
really
it
good.
personally.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah,
So,
thank
here
you
we
for
end today's
staying with us.
session.
Thank you as well for, giving me this opportunity. Thanks to Hyderabad. And also, don't forget to tune in tomorrow. And I guess that's it. Peace.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
folks will enjoy tomorrow's session as well, which is with Karuna. So do tune in. Don't forget. At the same time, it's 7. So good night and have a nice day, folks. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. See you.
See you all.